All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into how to tame that IT chaos. We're breaking down a report from the technology research firm Virtualization Options LLC, and we're going to focus on 3 core ITIL 4 practices that can really transform your IT operations, taking them from just another cost center to a powerful, strategic part of the business. Let's get right into it.
So let me start by asking you a question. Think about the technology in your own organization. Is it really an enabler, pushing you forward, or does it feel more like an anchor, just weighing you down? We've all been there, right? Legacy systems you can't touch, deployments that take forever and miss the mark, and just this constant battle to keep the lights on. It's a huge pain point, and it's exactly the kind of problem ITIL 4 is built to solve.
So how do we get from that chaos to some semblance of control? Well, the answer is right there in the ITIL 4 framework, and specifically in what it calls its technical management practices. Now, don't think of these as just a bunch of rigid rules. Think of them as a structured, proven way to turn all that tech into real, measurable business value.
At its heart, technical management is basically the bridge. It connects what your technology can do with what the business actually needs to do. It's all about making sure that your technical wizards aren't just working in a silo. It ensures that every single decision, every upgrade, every line of code is directly helping the business win.
Okay, let's get into our first practice and see how this works. We're going to start with deployment management. This is all about one thing. How do we get new or changed services out into the world with confidence, with reliability, and without causing a massive headache for absolutely everyone involved? So the official definition here is pretty straightforward. It's the practice of moving any component, and that could be hardware, software, even just the documentation, into the live environment where your customers and users are. It's that final, absolutely critical step for any change you make.
But doing deployment right is so much more than just pushing a Go Live button. This isn't some technical checklist. It's really about professionalism. It means you have standards, so things are consistent. It means you coordinate, so nobody's caught off guard. And crucially, it means you have a plan B, a solid rollback procedure. And maybe most important of all, you prove your success with actual data through testing and monitoring, instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
So what does this look like in the real world? Well, picture a big global financial firm that needs to roll out a critical security update. They don't just wing it, right? No way. They plan meticulously, they identify every single dependency, they create specific deployment packages for each environment, they schedule the rollout strategically, region by region, and use automated checks to verify everything. They've got clear go, no-go criteria at every stage, and of course that rollback plan is ready and waiting just in case. It's a perfect example of a structured, low-risk approach. Now, any deployment, no matter how well planned, needs to land on solid ground. And that brings us to our second practice, infrastructure and platform management. Honestly, this is the bedrock. It's the absolute foundation that every single one of your IT services is built on.
This practice covers the whole shebang, everything that underpins your services. We're talking about the physical servers humming away in your data centers, the virtualization platforms, the cloud services that run pretty much your entire business. If this foundation has cracks, everything you build on top of it is at risk of crumbling.
Now this is where things get really interesting, because it shows such a dramatic shift. We're going from this before world of rigid, expensive, manual infrastructure to this modern after state that's agile, automated, and incredibly efficient. Just look at the difference. From waiting months to scaling on demand in minutes. From reacting to fires after they start, to proactively predicting them before they ever happen. This isn't just a simple tech upgrade, it's a completely different and better way of delivering value.
All right, so with that rock-solid modern infrastructure in place, we can now talk about what runs on top of it. Our third practice is software development and management, and this is where the magic happens. This is where ideas become the actual applications that can give your business a real competitive edge. Software development itself has been on a heck of a journey. We started with the old-school, super slow, sequential waterfall method. Then we moved to more collaborative and flexible approaches like Agile. And now, DevOps is all about breaking down that final wall, the one between the people who build the software and the people who run it, all in the name of speed and stability. Let's look at another real-world case to see how this plays out. So here we have a financial firm, and they're stuck in the past. They're doing these quarterly release cycles, and it's just way too slow. By the time they finally launch a new feature, the market has completely changed. Sound familiar to anyone?
So what did they do about it? They launched a massive transformation, all guided by these ITIL principles. They totally restructured their teams around products, not technology silos. They went all in on Agile and DevOps, and they invested a ton in automating their entire delivery pipeline.
And the results? They were incredible. First off, they got a staggering 75% reduction in their time to market. Think about that. They went from these painful quarterly releases to shipping new value to their customers every 2 weeks. But here's the real kicker. That speed didn't come at the expense of quality. Because of all the automation and better processes, they saw a 60% drop in production defects. So they got faster and better. That's the dream, right?
And now for the final and you could argue most important number of all, a 40% increase in customer satisfaction. This just proves it, right? That all this internal technical work has a direct, massive, and measurable impact on the people who actually use your products. So we've looked at 3 key practices: deployment, infrastructure, and software development. Now, let's just zoom out for a second and see how all these pieces fit together to drive real, tangible business success.
So why does any of this really matter? Because these practices, they're not just about tech. They are the engine of a modern business. They're what lets you deliver actual value to customers. They give you the agility to react to a changing market. They create the kind of operational excellence that builds trust. And they provide that stable, secure foundation that everything else depends on.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on: your IT department. I'm sure it's functioning, it's keeping the servers running, keeping the lights on, but you have to ask yourself, is it truly creating value? Is it an enabler that's pushing your business forward, or is it an anchor holding you back? Mastering these practices just might be the key to unlocking that answer.